Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening. Welcome to the DTF Success Series. I am Kenyatta Jabbar with Purposely Crafted, and I'm going to give it a few minutes and wait for a few people to jump on. But when you jump in, please drop your city and states and let me know where you're watching from.
Was preparing me for change. Now I see it wasn't wasted. Every road that I walked through, God was building something greater before I ever knew. Purpose over pressure, faith over fear. Even when the road gets hard, I know why I'm here. One step, one dream, one day at a time. What's meant for me is mine. Walking in purpose, standing in grace. Every lesson, every battle held me.
All right, it is 7:02, so we're going to get started. Welcome back, everyone. I am Kenyatta Jabbar, the owner of Purposely Crafted. And for those who are new, let me just give you a little background story about myself. Um, in 2019, I started crafting after I lost my job. Now, I'd always been creative and would do little things here and there, but just as something to do as a release, as an outlet. But in 2019, I wanted to be able to give my kids the custom items that I was seeing other moms making. So I went and purchased a Cricut, didn't know how to use it, didn't know what I was doing. And what led me into seriously thinking about my own business is I had a friend who had a cutting machine. And when I asked for some assistance to say, hey, if I give you the materials, could you make something for my kids for their backpacks? And I was told that I could figure it out. So, figure it out, I did. So, I went from vinyl, I dabbled in sublimation. I still love sublimation, but now I'm into DTF. So let me share my screen and we are going to get this thing started. Okay, I hope everyone can you see my screen? All right, good deal, good deal. So, again, welcome back. So, in class one, if you remember, we figured out which DTF path the most sense for you. And then in class two, we talked about what supplies you actually need and what you can wait on. So today, we're finally taking the next step. You're going to place your very first transfer order. So my goal is that by the end of today's class, you'll know exactly what to do before clicking that checkout button. But before we get started, grab something to write with, a pencil, a pen, a crayon, whatever you got, and a piece of paper, because I'm going to give you quite a few tips along the way that you're going to want to remember. And make sure you stay with me until the end because we're going to have a little giveaway. But I'm warning you now, you're going to have to pay attention to win. Okay, so what you will know by the end of class. By the end of today's class, you should know how to choose the right vendor, what artwork vendors need, how transfer sizing works, how to avoid common ordering mistakes, and how to confidently submit your first order. All right, so before you order anything, ask yourself one simple question: what am I making? Everything starts there. Are you making one custom birthday shirt, team shirts, family reunion shirts, business logo shirt, or products to sell online? The answer affects the transfer size, the quantity, the vendor, and the cost. So don't just start by shopping, start by knowing what you are creating. All right, so let's talk about what's going to make or break your order, and that's your artwork. So I don't care if you find the vendor that's the bomb diggity, they are so amazing. If you send in poor artwork, you're going to get poor results. Garbage in, garbage out. DTF printers don't fix artwork. They print exactly what you send them. So when a vendor asks for a PNG, they're asking for artwork in a format designed to preserve image quality. So let me explain to you what a transparent background means. It means that nothing is there. There's nothing behind your design. It doesn't mean that the background is white. It means that there's nothing behind your design. I'm sorry, when you open a transparent PNG in Canva or Photoshop, you often see this gray and white checkerboard like you see here on my screen. That pattern, that is not part of the design. It only shows that the background is transparent. So let me give you a real life example. If you have black lettering is saved with a white background and you pressed it on a black shirt, you're going to get a white box around it. But if it's transparent, you're only going to get the lettering. So one of the easiest ways to show that you're a beginner is to have artwork that has unwanted white box around it. So if you have transparency, that helps prevent that. All right. Let's go back. Give me 1 second. All right. So, which one of these would you send to your vendor? Number one, a JPEG, JPG with a white background. So the background is white and that's what that background is. Number two is a PNG with a white background. Would you send that one to your vendor? Or a low resolution PNG, 72 DPI, or high resolution PNG, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one would you send to your vendor? So the correct answer is number 4. So you have a PNG that's preserving the file. The background is transparent. You see by the checkerboard. The resolution is high at a minimum 300 DPI. And this result will give you a sharp, clear, and professional print. So resolution. So this used to confuse me. I had no idea how important that was until I ordered some transfers and or attempted to, and they told me that the resolution was too low. So the resolution is about the quality and the sharpness of your design. The standard for DTF printing is 300 DPI. The higher the resolution, the clearer and sharper the printed design. So think about this. If you are watching a video online, when it's blurry, the details are hard to see, but when it's high definition, everything looks crisp and clear. Artwork works the same way. Low resolution images may look okay on your phone, but it can print blurry or pixelated. So if your artwork looks blurry on a computer, it will not magically become sharp when printed. Start with the highest quality file that you can. So before uploading your artwork, these are the things that you need to check or ask these questions. Is it a PNG? Is the background transparent? Is the DPI at least 300 resolution? If the answer is yes to all three, then you're setting yourself up for a better result. But I want you to double check your design before submitting. But like I said, because garbage in is garbage out. It's not going to magically fix itself when it's printed. Okay, now let's talk about transfer sizes. So one of the first questions people ask, what size should I order? And the answer is, it depends. Transfer size simply means how big your design will be when printed. You want the design to fit the shirt, not overwhelm it, and not look too small. There's no one magic size that works for every shirt. Recommended sizes are starting points. So when you're choosing a transfer size, these are the three things you want to think about. Who's wearing it? Is it an infant, youth, an adult? Where's the design going to be? On the left chest, the full front, sleeve, a hat, a tote bag, the back, and what does the design look like? Is it a tall design? Is it more tall than wide, more wide than tall? And I don't expect you to memorize all of these sizes, so that's why there's a transfer guide that exists. So you want to start with the recommended sizes, measure when needed, and adjust with experience. So, recommended sizes are a starting point, not a rule. So as you gain experience, you'll adjust based on the design, the garment, and your customer's preferences. Because even experienced decorators are just part of learning. Don't stress about perfection. Start with the recommendation, measure when needed, and improve with every. Because as you can see now, though this isn't DTF, you can see that this probably could have been a little larger on my shirt. But this was for me, and this is, something I was testing, trying out. So, with experience, you will get your sizes more accurate. Okay, so in our previous classes, we've talked about ready to press transfers and gang sheets. So today we're focusing on one when each one makes sense. But before we move forward, let me show you a sample of what I'm talking about. So this is just a single ready to press DTF transfer sheet. And this is a gang sheet. So, so as you can see, there are several different images and designs on this full sheet. And I cut one out because I'm getting ready to press those designs on some shirts. So, as we said before, ready to press is like buying one meal. The gang sheet is like buying groceries. You're getting several things at one time because you know you'll use them. I know I'm going to use these, so that's why I ordered the gang sheet. So you are going to choose ready to press when you need simplicity, when you only need one design, when you're testing a new design, or when it's a one-time customer order. So let me ask you a question. If a customer wants one custom birthday shirt for this weekend, would you order ready to press transfer or a gang sheet? The answer is ready to press. Since they just want one shirt for this weekend, you don't need a whole gang sheet of the same design for that one shirt. Now you're going to choose a gang sheet when you have multiple designs, several copies of the same logo, or when you're building inventory. So one of the best parts of a gang sheet is using every inch of the space. If there's room left, add a small logo, maybe for yourself or a future project, instead of leaving it blank. You don't want any blank space, except enough space for you to cut out your designs. So here's another question, a knowledge check. A local daycare orders 10 shirts with the same logo. Which would you choose? The individual transfer or the gang sheet? The answer is a gang sheet. But my tip to you is don't order a gang sheet just because it costs less per transfer. Order one because it makes sense for the project that you're working on. So neither option is better, the single one or the gang sheet. They're just simply tools. You have to ask yourself before you choose, how many designs do I need? Will I use these transfers again? Am I testing a design? Can I fill the gang sheet efficiently? The right choice depends on your project, your customer, and your goals. Now, there's no one perfect DTF vendor, but you have to choose the right vendor for you. So, one thing you need to remember, not every vendor is the right vendor for every project. So, every vendor has strengths, every vendor has weaknesses or opportunities, as I like to call them. So, your job is to choose the one that best fits your needs. You're going to look at the deadline, shipping, upload process, support, color consistency, minimums, reviews, and pressing instructions. So, we're going to go over those. So, turnaround time, that matters. Before promising your customer a delivery date, you need to check the vendor's estimated turnaround. How quickly do you need it? Because if you need it tomorrow or in 2 days, someone that you have to have it shipped to your house, that's not going to work for you. So, here's a knowledge check. If a customer needs a shirt for an event in 3 days, would turnaround time be important to you? The answer is yes. Now, shipping and turnaround time are different. A vendor may print quickly, but shipping can still take days. And so then the upload process, it should be beginner friendly. So you want to look for clear file type, size, and artwork requirements. If you have to jump through hoops just to upload one image, that may not be the vendor for you. And then customer support. That matters when you have questions, your package gets delayed, or something doesn't go according to plan. You need to be able to reach out to their customer service and get a response quickly. Okay, now we're not going to choose our vendor based on just price. We want to check their color consistency, especially if you plan to reorder the same design from this vendor again. So let's just say your church group wants to order some shirts for their auxiliary group, and you order 50 shirts for this go round, and then they have an order next month for another 50 shirts. You want to make sure that the colors are consistent, so when they're together as a group, somebody's shirt looks the my shirt should look the same as her shirt if we're in the same group and you ordered from the same vendor. So you want to make sure that color is consistent. And you want to check for minimum orders. If you're making one birthday shirt, you probably don't want a vendor that requires 20 transfers. So some vendors you can order one. Now, of course, shipping is going to make a difference, but if it's a customized shirt that you just need one or two, then shipping is going to be what it is, but you want to make sure you check their minimum quantity order requirements. And we discussed this before in our class number 2, but just to reiterate, you want to read the reviews. You don't want to just look at stars. You want to pay attention to what people are saying about the print quality, the shipping, their communication, and reliability. I cannot tell you how many times when I did not check the reviews, went by someone else, one other person I know that ordered, and I got horrible service. And, I couldn't blame anyone but myself because I didn't do the research. And then finally, you want to look at pressing instructions. The vendor should always send you pressing instructions because every Transfer is not the same. They're not all built the same. Some are hot peel, some are cold peel. The temperatures vary, the time varies. So you want to always read the pressing instructions. You never want to assume that every transfer presses the same way. So choosing a vendor is not about, like I said before, finding the cheapest price. It's about finding someone you can trust to consistently help you deliver quality products. So you want to ask yourself, can they meet my deadline? Is the upload process beginner friendly? Are the colors consistent? Have I read the reviews? Do they have a reasonable shipping? Do they have responsive customer support? Is there minimal order? And did I review the pricing instructions? So this is where you would use your first vendor checklist to make sure you check all the boxes as you are deciding on which vendor to choose. So, um, and for those who were in the other in class number 2, that was a part of the toolkit, but I'll discuss that later on in the presentation. Okay, so now we're going to put it all together. So we've covered a lot in the last 3 classes. You've chosen your DTF path. You've learned what supplies you need. Now you've prepared your artwork. You've chosen your transfer type and you selected a vendor. So now we're going to put it all together by walking through placing an order. So the first thing, you're going to choose your vendor. You're going to look on the home page, go to ready to press versus gang sheet, and you're going to navigate there. Then you're going to upload your artwork. You're going to confirm what you are uploading is a PNG, that the background is transparent and it has a high resolution before you upload. Before you upload, make sure you check those boxes are checked. So, question, before uploading your artwork, what are the 3 things that we should make sure we have? That's correct. PNG, transparent background, and a high resolution. Now, step 4, you're going to choose the quantity. This is simple. 1 shirt means 1 transfer. 10 shirts means 10 transfers. Order what the project requires. Now, me personally, I would suggest maybe you order maybe 1 extra because there could be a mistake. You get a shirt, you press it, and the design is off. So it's better to have an extra one that you have on hand than you have to order again and wait for that transfer to come in. And now your customer is waiting for their order because of a mistake that you may have made when pressing. So when you're first getting started, you don't have to order a whole lot of extras. You can start with what you need, but my suggestion is just maybe order 1 additional transfer. Now, step 5, you're going to double check everything. You're going to check the artwork. You're going to check the size. You're going to check the quantity, make sure you ordered enough. You're going to check the production selection, and you're going to check the turnaround time. You should check to make sure you've confirmed the turnaround time. So now you are ordering shirts for a family reunion next weekend. Do you check turnaround time before or after placing your order? Hey, AJ Designs Academy, how are you? How are you? All right, so you are going to check that turnaround before you place your order. Now, step 6, you're going to review your cart. Check the cart. Make sure everything that you want is in the cart. The correct item, the quantity, your size, shipping method, and the estimated arrival. And finally, you're going to submit that order. But before you submit, you can always go back, check that cart again, double check, make sure everything that you are expecting to receive, you will receive. All right, so when you break the process into simple steps, placing your first order is not that intimidating. The key is to taking your time. Take your time. Check. Even if you feel like you're under the gun, you need to check your work because you don't want your customer to suffer. Because if your customer suffers, your business suffers. Then you won't have a repeat customer, and word of mouth can kill your business. And then you're going to use all of the tools that we have gone over so far. Now that we've gone through this process, now we're going to talk about common beginner mistakes and how to avoid them. All right, mistake number one, ordering the wrong size. A design that's too small looks awkward. You got an extra large shirt and you got this teeny tiny design in the middle of the chest, or one that looks too large, it just doesn't look right. If I look, I'm in a nice small shirt, and if I have my design that's up under my armpit, I'm gonna look crazy walking down the street with this shirt. Mistake number two, forgetting about the transparent background. If there's a white box after pressing, then you did not have a transparent background on your artwork. So prior to you uploading, like we said, make sure your artwork has a transparent background. Mistake number three, uploading screenshots. I know we all take, oh, this is so nice. This is a nice design. I want to do it. Or a customer sends you a design. If it's a screenshot, it's almost never going to be the quality that you want for professional printing. So you want to use original artwork whenever possible. Now, if a customer is insistent on that artwork, you need to let them know that, hey, this may not come, the quality may not be the way you like it because this is not the original artwork or original image. And mistake number four, skipping the pressing instructions. Like I said, every vendor has their own pressing instructions, so you cannot say all DTF transfers press the same. Temperatures are different, times are different, the pressure is different, and the peel method is different. So never assume. Always use the pressing instructions that the vendor gives to you. And mistake number five, ordering too many transfers. And we've discussed that in the previous classes, just ordering more either because you think you're going to sell them. A smaller starter orders let you learn, test, and adjust without tying up all of your money. Grow with your customers, not ahead of them. Mistake number six, not ordering a sample first. A lot of these DTF vendors allow you to order samples. And most of the time they're free. You just pay for shipping so that you can test them out and see if this is a vendor that you would even want to give your business to. Mistake number seven, assuming that every vendor is the same. You want to follow their instructions for the transfers that you purchase. And to me, this is the bonus mistake, rushing the process. Slow down. Just take a few extra minutes, because those few extra minutes that you take today can save you money tomorrow. Okay, so out of everything that we covered today, which mistake, and there's no right or wrong answer, which one do you think beginners make the most often? Type the number that you think in the chat. All right. Bonnie says wrong size. Number one. I think for me, when I was a newbie as a beginner, it was ordering too many. But that was just me because I had the shiny syndrome. Oh, yeah, assuming every vendor is the same. Okay, so now that you know how to prepare, you've learned how to prepare your artwork and you choose the right transfers. Now we're getting real close to ordering. You know, you're getting close. You can order with confidence. So now you click submit. Now what happens? Now you just going to sit there twiddling our thumbs. So processing, the order may not start printing immediately. Processing time plus shipping time equals the real wait time. That's why we always say, don't promise your customer, oh, I can have it to you in 3 days, when it may take your vendor 2 days to even process and print, let alone shipping. Now, once production begins, changes can't be made. It's ready to print, and that's why you checked everything before you hit submit. And shipping, hopefully you have great customer service with your vendor. So you're going to watch for tracking, expected delivery dates, and then so you're going to build that as breathing room into your customer deadlines. So, like I said, don't promise your customers a pickup date based on when you hope the transfers are going to arrive. Try to, they say production time is 3 to 5 days, and shipping is another 3 days. It may be a 10-day lead time for you, unless you have a place like we do here in Atlanta where we can pick up our DTFs in person. So once your transfers arrive, though, don't just throw the package on the craft table, even if it's not for a customer, even if you've ordered just test transfers. Open it up, check them, compare what arrived to what ordered, look at the quantity, the size, the colors, the artwork, the overall quality, and any obvious defects or damage. Because if they want to take note of that, take pictures, send it to the customer service so that they can rectify anything that may be damaged or defect. And then also, of course, you want to keep their pressing instructions, because 3 weeks later, when you decide to go press, you're going to be standing at your press talking about, now, where did I order these from? And now you're trying to go back to the website to find their pressing instructions. But if you keep them with those transfer sheets, you will always know how to press them. But it does, the transfer is not going to tell the whole story until you press it and test it. But store your unused transfers flat, clean, dry, and away from heat and moisture, and protected from dust and damage. All right, so let's take a minute. Let's see how far we've come today. So today, you learn how to prepare your artwork, make sure you have transparent backgrounds, that it has to be a PNG, high DPI resolution. You learn how to choose the right transfer size. You learn how to decide between ready to press and your gang sheets. You're comparing vendors, not just on price, but on all of those other things that we talked about: consistency, turnaround time, shipping, customer service, etc. Placing your first order and avoiding their common beginner mistakes. So if you've been with me since class 1, if you've been building a solid foundation for your DTF business. Excuse me. Now, this is the exciting part. So knowledge is great, but action builds confidence. So I'm going to give you your class 3 challenge, which is like homework. I don't want you to just watch the classes. I want you to start building confidence by actually doing the work. So before the next class, I would like you to complete the following items. You're going to choose a vendor, choose a design, decide on your transfer size. Then you're going to complete the first vendor checklist, and you're going to complete the first test order checklist. So, because you'll need that when you order your first test order. And then most importantly, though, I want you to place one test order. I don't care if it's one transfer, a gang sheet, 2 or 3 transfers. And I know somebody's probably thinking, but I don't even have a heat press yet. And that's okay. You don't need one for this assignment. I want you to go through the process of choosing your artwork, selecting your size, choosing your vendor, and placing the order, and actually having a DTF transfer in your hands. Because next week, we're going to take the next step. So in class 4, which is coming up next, we're going to talk about heat press settings, the pressure, common pressing mistakes, and what to do if something doesn't come out the way it is expected. So if you've ordered your test transfer, you'll be able to follow right along next week. So now, if today's class helped you feel more confident, I have an offer for you, which is my first order success kit. And it's created to make the process easier and designed to help you put today's lesson into action. So, inside this toolkit kit, you'll get your first vendor checklist, the first test order checklist, and your DTF design cheat sheet. So instead of trying to remember all of this that we covered today, you'll have a printable guide to walk you through the process. And there's a link for that inside of my description box. And I can drop it in the chat if you like. All right, so if you were with me at the beginning, remember I said take notes because now it's giveaway time. So hopefully you were paying attention. All right, so is everybody ready? All right, so let me stop sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, Bonnie's ready. All right, question number one. Earlier, I gave you 3 things to think about when choosing the size of your transfers. What were they? The 3 things to think about when choosing the size of your transfers. I think you all either weren't taking notes or some of you may have been. All right, who said that? The material, the size, and the color. No, that's not correct, Miss Bonnie. So I'm that's okay. So the answer is who's wearing it. So if it's a child, an infant, an adult, where the design is going. Is it going on the front, the sleeve, the back, the chest, a hat, and the shape of the design? Because some designs, as you know, are more wide than tall. Some are, a perfect square type of shape, but you have to know the shape of the design. All right, so I think you might be able to get this one. This is question number 2. Before choosing a DTF vendor based on price, name at least 4 other things that I told you to compare. And there was quite a few. I just need 4. Okay. 4 things to compare when you are choosing your DTF vendor. What 4 things would you think are important as you're choosing your DTF vendor outside of price? All right, one more, Miss Bonnie. You got 3. All right. So actually, Lady G, personal concierge, you got it. So here's the whole list: turnaround time, shipping, upload process, customer support, color consistency, minimum orders, reviews, and pressing instructions. You were so close, Miss Bunny. You just needed one more. But we got one more question. One more question. So, Lady G, if you can put your email in the chat. I will be emailing you as soon as this is over. So, question number 3: what was my coach's tip about choosing between ready to press and a gang sheet? What was my tip about choosing between ready to press transfers and a gang sheet? No, that's not it, AJ Designs. Anybody else remember? I, that's good, Lady G. You're close. The answer was don't order a gang sheet because it's cheaper. Order it because it makes sense. So you paraphrase that, Lady G. Now you basically got two questions. Now, if you want to share your wonderful winning, you can. If not, I need you to just drop your email in the chat. That was a good guess and thought for not being there during that part of the training. I want to thank. Okay, now see, she said she would give it to one of the other ladies. So, if everyone would drop their email in the chat, I will send everyone something. I will reach out to you. I want to thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer? Because if this class was helpful, I'd love for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who's just getting started with DTF. And if not, I will see you guys in class number 4 of the DTF Success Series. Until then, keep building with purpose, and I'll see you next time. But I'm going to hang around for a minute or two in case there's any questions and to make sure I get your email addresses. Thank you guys. This is my third one, and it's been a real experience. I do. I have vendors local and some overseas. I do have a vendor list in my stand store, and I've ordered like here in Atlanta. There's the one where I show my gang sheet. I got them locally, so they have like a if you order by noon, you can pick up the next day. And then I have another one that I order out of Texas. They're they're pretty reasonable, and their stuff turnaround time is pretty good. The ones overseas, it's normally, yeah, from the time I order to receiving about 10 days or so. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And make sure when you guys go live, drop your link so I can join as well. I was on yours, I think, AJ, um, last week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can't remember which day. They're all starting to run together. All right. Any more questions, ladies? If not, again, thank you so much for joining me this evening and hope to see you guys in class number 4. Good night.